Hey everybody, this is Mike from the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I've got some more Burncycle for you. Specifically, Chip Theory Games was cool enough to send me a physical prototype, whereas last week I got the pleasure of playing and learning the game with Shannon Wedge. So what you're going to see in this video is similar to what I did when I played with Shannon the other day, but it won't be on TTS, and we're going to do 2 floors now instead of 1, so you can see how things ramp up. Now, of course, everything you're going to see is very, very much a prototype. They're still developing and tweaking and even changing some mechanics. For example, if you saw the recent update, you'll know these room tiles just have these random textures they found on the internet, but the actual art will be stunning, at least from what I've seen. And I'm not going to do a separate setup and how to play explanation because we already have the entire tutorial video with Shannon and she did an amazing job. But I will explain the basic concepts of rules as they happen, so that if you didn't watch those other videos, you're not out of luck. So first we've got the whole floor set up, and this is dictated by the corporation we're playing against. Although right now this is the only first floor that I've been able to play. I'm trying a different corporation this time in terms of their threat effects, but the layout is the same as what you might have already seen. So I've got this main neoprene mat, and then on top I've added each of these rooms in the indicated configuration. And each of the rooms in these very tiny icons indicates how many room dice go in there. Most have 1, but the warehouse and the security station have 2. They each get a terminal chip on the little terminal space. Red spaces in rooms start with stuff automatically, so I drew a random guard for the security station, and I also drew a random item for the unlocked crate up in the storage room, which is a smoke grenade. And then finally, you've got these 3 starting guard spots, which again, I've randomly determined. We have the Bulldog, the toughest guard in the game, at least on the first floor, right next to the entrance. Yikes. And then 2 hamsters on the other side. Then we've got the network board, which is a little bit bigger than I expected it to be. Honestly, I think the main board is not that large. It's really a nice size, but this one takes up a lot of space. We've got the threat track starting at 0. This is a different corporation than you might have seen in the TTS playthrough. Again, I don't have the objective cards and the room layouts for this corporation because it would be even more varied than what you're going to see, but this will at least change things up from what you saw in the previous playthrough. Then I've got the signal strength dice for both the CEO's pings he'll be sending against me and each of my robots' little IP address tokens here. And finally, I've got my 3 robots. I'm playing 2-handed, but you always have 1 more robot than the number of players as kind of a support bot. So here I've got Processor, who you might remember from the TTS playthrough, although they've fine-tuned some of his abilities already since the last time you saw him. I've got a new one, Bite, previously unseen. He's a stealthy kind of ninja guy. I love him already. And then they still only have 1 support bot for me to try out, Transmitter, so he's going to be doing the same stuff as in the last play. And to start the play out, we're each going to draw an imperative that will limit one of our actions potentially, but also give us some power later. Okay, bandwidth throttling. Your bot's action set does not contribute to the action pool after the next Burncycle reset. That means after we've gone through several rounds, we're going to kind of like reset the game and gain some threat. Processor's not going to help out with his tech chip, so that will limit us quite a bit. But 2 power is pretty nice. And then Byte gets reset router. Skip the next access point you land on, it does nothing. So that basically is just going to take away one of his network bonuses, but again, for a little power gain when it happens. Then we're going to draw 2 objectives and keep 1. And again, these are for Need Chain. This is the only objective set I have, but for every corporation, they'll actually have their own unique deck. And our choices are either DDoS attack, access 3 terminals without resetting your Burncycle. Ah man, I wish I'd brought the other robot who's good at terminals. Or plan diversion, alert 2 separate guards and evade them. Well, that sounds good for our ninja Bite to kind of do, and again, the terminal one is tougher without the other robot. So we're going to go for that. If we successfully do it, we'll gain 2 power for every one of our 3 robots, including our supporting one. Power is kind of like how you level up in the game, and we'll be ready to go to the elevator. Because that is your goal on each floor of Burncycle, to complete all of the objectives for the floor, and then to get everybody onto an elevator space and head on up to the next side. Okay, next we have to figure out where our 3 robots are going to start. And we can start anywhere on the sidewalk outside of the building, although once we move off of that, we're basically going to stay inside for the rest of the game. But if we specifically start on one of these spaces that has these 3 symbols, the little running guy, or the data chip, or the shield, that'll give us extra chips to kind of make our first set of rounds last longer before we have to reset the Burncycle. Now our main entry options are the lobby, which doesn't have any guards yet, but this room die could add one behind that desk. which I think makes Bite a perfect one for it, because he's got a skill that I'm probably going to get right at the beginning of the game that makes him able to enter rooms without alerting any guards that might be there, so he can kind of safely scout for us, and maybe he'll be near here. Our other two entry options, for lack of a better word, suck, because in the main entrance we've got Bulldog, this very high awareness guard. This 8 is basically how far away he can see us and start chasing us. A decent movement, but very high awareness. And then if we go through the security room, there's a not as tough guard right here, but these 2 dice are pretty likely to spawn a second guard there. I don't know if I even want to touch that room. But we have to go in somewhere, and as you'll see, Processor kind of has the most consistent movement options of any of my bots, so do I want him to start in the shield space or the run space? Let's go for the shield. Whereas I think Bite can start right next to the lobby door, and Transmitter can be a little bit further back. I do want more running physical chips for us, so he'll be on one of those. So with our starting spaces set, we're going to construct our Burncycle, basically these action chips that let us do things throughout our turn. Now, Processor and Bite both provide chips that are going to go into my bag, just the ones above these little green levels because they haven't leveled up to those yet. So Processor will give us 2 green tech chips, and Bite a yellow physical chip and a blue utility chip. And then we also get chips from the spaces outside we started on, or later on in the game from the rooms we're occupying. In this case, if you remember, Processor was on a utility space and Transmitter was on a physical space. I take all of these chips, 6 in this case, put them in a bag and shuffle them, and I draw them out and fill these Burncycle spaces. At the beginning of the game, before we leveled up our support bot, Transmitter will just get 1, 2, 3 spots. And in this case, we got a nice mix, a tech action, followed by a physical chip, followed by a utility chip. Then we get to look in our bag and pick any 3 chips to be in our reserve. In this case, we've only got 3 chips, so that will be good enough. We can just kind of leave them over here. Basically, at the end of every round, after all my robots have taken actions, the bottommost chip is going to flip, which means, oh, now we can only take 2 actions in the next round. But at any point during our round before an action, we can switch in one of our reserve chips and give ourselves back those 3 actions. They can also be used to help us open doors. Now, to get to how a robot action works, let's say a Processor is our starting robot, and he'll remain the first robot for this entire cycle of actions until we reset that Burncycle we just set up. So the first thing he gets to do is spend some of his power if he would like. And this is a change if you watch the TTS video. They've now given every robot 10 power to start, the maximum value, and then you can level up in whatever diverse way you want right at the start of the game. So for Processor, he's got this special ability, Imitation Matrix. Once per turn, he can gain an action bonus no matter what action type he's using. The 3 types you just saw, Tech, the green one, Physical, the yellow one, and Utility, the blue one, they give bonuses based on which actions you take if it's the right kind of action for the chip. But Processor can kind of ignore that once per turn and get whatever bonus he wants. Now, another important thing for each robot related to the power, the high number here, 8, is the maximum power they're allowed to keep. They have to spend anything over that. So since he has 10, he's going to have to spend at least 2. And these bottom 2 numbers are the maximum number of advanced and super advanced red dice that he can hold. So the power, anything he hasn't spent, is going to also be his basic die pool. So like here, if he had 8, then he would get 8 yellow dice. But then the other ones are stronger orange and red dice. Now, alternatively, I could spend 2 power to unlock my next chip for the next time we do the Burncycle. But since he's got the bandwidth throttling, that won't help very much because he wouldn't contribute anyway. And for 3, 4, and 5 power respectively, I can get his special skills. And I love the 3rd one, which lets him jam or unjam a door so he can lock guards out of pursuing him. The 4th one's really good too, but I'm worried about not actually having enough dice, so I think I'm just going to upgrade my dice for now. So for every 2 power I spend, I can upgrade my advanced dice by 1. So I'm going to do that. I spent 4 power, so now I've got 6 yellow dice and 2 orange dice in my pool. I could go one step further and upgrade to a red die by taking away 1 of my advanced spots and again 2 of my regular power spots. But let's not do that yet. You can spend more power at the beginning of any turn. And another thing is you want to keep some power because that's also your life pool. Anytime you get hit by a guard, it has to come from your basic power, and if you go down to 0, you are destroyed. And that's also what you'll be gaining when you complete little objectives, like the imperative that we each drew at the beginning of the game and the objective for the floor. Alright, Processor has spent his power, so now he forms his dice pool. Yellow dice equal to that value, orange dice equal to that, red equal to that, so I've just got 6 and 2. And I'm going to move this little token from one chip to the next. I can take 1 action for each of these chips, and again I get a bonus if it matches the action type. Now at the moment, Processor is in front of a door, so I'd love for him to unlock that door. And unlocking doors or crates is a blue utility action, which means I wouldn't get the bonus for this green tech chip. But don't forget, Processor's special ability is that he can treat one chip per turn as any type he wants, so we'll just say this is blue for a moment. And now we want to gain access to the keypad to actually find out how to unlock the door, but to do that we're going to need 2 action points, and for that I'll show you the core mechanic of the game, which is rolling your action point dice. You roll as many as you want, of whichever types you want, and if they roll a slash mark, either 2 of those can become 1 point, or you can keep them in your pool, but every other die you roll that results in a number has to be taken out of your pool, so it's exhausted for the rest of the round. So as you do actions, you're not quite sure how many dice you need to roll to succeed at them. Like here I need 2 AP, so if I rolled these 3, but somehow came up, well, I guess it's impossible, but if I somehow came up with nothing, then I wouldn't actually unlock the door. But the dice will slowly get exhausted, and you'll have to kind of strive more or stop your turn early when you don't have enough dice to do much anymore. So in this case, I need 2 action points to see what the keypad requires. I'm going to roll these, and that was a great result. I got 3 more than I need, and I can, again, put these hash mark basic dice back in my pool, so that's all I've lost. And when you succeed at a keypad utility action, you take the top card of the keypad deck and you put it right there on the door. What the heck? And this shows you exactly what you need to open the door. And I'll tell you for free that this is like literally the worst possible result I could have gotten. So what you do is you look at the column for the floor you're on. Here I'm on the first floor, and I now have to use actions equal to these icons to unlock it, remove that, and open up the door for the rest of the game. It stays open for everybody. Now in this case, it's calling for utility actions, and there's 2 ways for me to get those actions. First of all, I can just skip down on the Burncycle 2 utility actions to resolve one of those icons, but that means I kind of skip my chance for more actions on the turn. And my second option is to discard matching chips from the reserve. So I could get rid of this utility token, and I guess do that one to get 2 of the 3. But don't forget, with Processor's special ability, I was super cool and made my tech chip count as a utility chip, which matches the action type, which means I get to ignore one of these. So I only need 2 utility symbols to open this. And that means I could do it successfully if I'm willing to go all the way down here and throw away an entire utility chip, which almost steals an entire round from us. So do I want to do that, or do I want to just regroup and go down to the security office? But there's such a high chance of there being guards in there, and guards in rooms won't bother us at all, so gosh, I guess I'm going to do it. I'll throw away this reserve chip and use up both my remaining actions to unlock this keypad. And when you do that, you put one of these green pegs in the red hole there to show that that door is unlocked now. Now, whenever I unlock a door, I can choose to immediately move 1 space in for free, but if I do that, I'd be next to this bulldog and he would hurt me at the end of this round. No thank you. And even though Processor still has a ton of dice left, there's not much to do with them because he is out of action, so we're going to move on to Bite's turn. Now, Bite also has 10 power, but a big difference, you'll see that he can only keep up to 5 power in his supply at a time, so he has to spend at least 5 of these. His basic power, you're going to love this for those luck mitigation people. Anytime he rolls his dice, he can change the result of one rolled die to match the result of another rolled die. So he can use fewer dice and be pretty confident that he'll be safe. And I'm actually going to spend 3 of his power to get his prime skill. I had mentioned this earlier. When entering a room, treat the space adjacent to the door like a hidden space until you move off of it. Usually when you go into a room, you have a chance of a guard popping up and seeing you immediately. Bite's going to take away that possibility and give us some safety. I still have to spend at least 2 more, but hey, what the hey, let's spend 4 and go all the way down to 3 power to get the same 2 advanced dice that Processor has. Now the first chip is a tech one, and Bite can't change the result to make it more advantageous to him. But a tech chip does give a bonus to get my little IP token on the network. And remember, his imperative is to reach an access point, which basically means move his token around to one of these red lightning bolts. So I think first I'm going to show you what a wireless access action looks like. So it's very simple. First you have to do the security check, which requires you just discarding 2 action dice of any color. But the bonus of doing this with a tech chip means you skip that cost. But then I flip the top card. Oh, and usually this is a cost, but I actually got a positive one. Network backdoor. Move any IP token to any node on one of the first 3 networks. Now, I'm actually not 100% sure what it means by any node on the first 3 networks, but I think I'm going to say like that one. And then, do I still get my regular move? Let's assume I do. Some of the rules are still being clarified, so I'm just going to go all the way to here. And how that works is whichever chip I was using, in this case a tech type, you go around counterclockwise to the first chip of that type, or you stop on a lightning bolt and get a bonus. So here, since I skipped these with the power from the card, I'm going to the first tech space right to there. Okay, now for my second action, I can do a physical, and if I do, I get a bonus, and yeah, I want to do that. And the main physical action is movement. You again roll your action dice, as many as you want, and for each point you get one space of orthogonal movement. But a cool thing is you've got your little helper bot. He doesn't take turns on his own, doesn't have dice on his own, but you can split your physical movement between the two of you. So like if Bite got 5 movement, he could move 2 or 3, and then the transmitter bot could use up the remaining movement if I wanted him to. Although a note on movement, no chips can move through any others except for a few kind of items inside the building. And the bonus of doing this with a physical action chip specifically is that you get 2 free movement. And I don't even have to roll dice. If the 2 movement is all I want, I can stop there. And in this case, I honestly just want to get transmitter next to Bite before he opens the door. So I'll go nice and simple and just use 2 of Bite's yellow dice. And okay, I've got the +2 bonus, so actually 1 is all I needed because that'll give me 3 movement, which will get my friend right next to me. And by the way, transmitter can do every other action that we can, like opening doors and such, except for going on the network. But movement is the only action where you can split APs with him. Otherwise, he has to be the only one taking the action from the chip. And speaking of, let's use a utility chip to try to open the door in front of Bite. He needs 2 AP, but he might as well roll all his dice because there's nothing else he can do with them. And sure, he got way more than enough. So again, I get to reveal the top keypad card, and I get to ignore 1 icon from the utility bonus. And there we go, that's much more standard. I can ignore that, so the door is open. And Bite can move into the room for free, and with his little stealth ability to not be seen on the first space, that's fine. Whenever you enter a room, you roll the room die or dice there, and of course I got a guard. But actually, good luck for me, it's a walker who has the worst awareness of any of the first floor guards. You can only see 2 spaces directly in front of him, or 1 to the sides, and he's just there, kind of facing the chin of that icon. But even if he had better awareness, Bite's ability still would have kept him safe. But I love that a walker's there. We can basically walk right around, except into this space if we wanted to go to the bathroom over on the side, and kind of avoid him entirely. Alright, and Bite's turn is also done, so let's show you what happens on each guard turn. So on each guard turn, we move in any order all of the guards on the board, but actually a lot of them won't move. Let's get into that. First of all, guards in a room will not move unless they've seen somebody. And also, while most guards have a patrol route, as you're about to see, the Bulldog does not. He just kind of sits there until somebody shows up. And I'm talking about awareness, which again is the second green stat on the guards. The Walker has 2. And how it works is, directly in front of their face, they can see that far. So the Walker can see 1, 2 squares until they hit a wall. They can't see through walls. But they also have awareness in kind of a curving fashion or in any other direction equal to half their awareness. So for the Walker, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. But for somebody like the Bulldog with 8 awareness, he can see 1, 2, 3. That's where the wall stops his forward awareness. But he can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, half his awareness, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can see anything in this entire little hallway here. And again, if they saw somebody, they would move towards them, or the last place they spotted them. You'll see how that works in a moment. But otherwise, if they're in a room, they don't move. Or if they have a patrol route on their token, they move with that. And here we've just got 2 hamsters, and all they do is they move directly forward, they flip around, they move directly back. And they have 2 movements, so this guy's going blip, and this guy's going bloop. Now additionally, if the CEO had sent any red pings out into the network, they would each move 2 spaces and possibly do some negative effects, but they haven't yet, so we're good. And finally, to close out the round, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to flip the bottommost token to its lock side. Now we only have 2 actions available, although I'll just go ahead and immediately sub some things in. I think I want more movement now, because Processor's going to try to run by that guard. There we go. And with that, you've seen most of the basics of the game, so I'm just going to go through Processor's turn and Bite's turn again, flip another chip, do some guard movement again and again. You still need to see how a Burncycle reset works, which is what we can choose to do at the end of any round if we don't feel like we have enough chips left to make our actions worthwhile. And there are a few action types you haven't seen yet, but we'll get to those as they come up. So Processor's first again. He could trade in some power, but I think the 6 and 2 is fine. And what the hey, let's live a little dangerously because I need to draw some guards towards me anyway. If he goes in here, of course Bulldog will see him, but maybe he can run over to here. Oh man, but can he open the door as well as get past Bulldog? I don't know. But hey, you know, what's life without a little excitement and danger? So let's have him for his first action, which is a tech action. He'll take a physical action, but I'm actually not going to use his ability to change that to a physical for the bonus. I'm going to save that for trying to open the door. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement, which means I bet this will be enough, and then I have some yellow dice to try to open the door once I get over there. Come on, come on. Oh my gosh, way too much. Okay, so I can get rid of that, and I've got 4, 6, 9 movement. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've got this little awareness chip for each robot. If I'm within a robot's awareness, which I am for this guy, then it goes right on my robot. But if I move out of his awareness range, like let's say I went right here, then it goes on the last space that he saw me. And that's what he's going to move towards whenever he takes his movement while it's there. Additionally, as a cost to being seen, the threat track goes up by 1. And when it reaches certain values, 3 for the first one in this case, you get these little CEO-specific threat effects that trigger. And I have a bunch of movement left, but Transmitter just has 1 space to move into because Bite's in his way, so we'll stop there. Okay, so now for my second action, like a moron, I'm going to treat that as a utility action with Processor's ability. Alright, and we'll spend all my dice to try to get the 2 AP I need. Oh, crud. Okay, so I have no dice left. But I get to look at the top keypad. Nice, and I can ignore 1 icon because, again, I use Processor's power to treat that as a utility chip, so we are open and in. Now, wouldn't it be just wonderful if there was a guard in here? Because I'm going to move in. Oh, cool, a crate, and there is a crate space. So I move in, and if a guard can see to the space inside of the room, the first space, you still have your awareness token there, because he's going to actually try to come into the room itself to chase after me. Now, I think for the crates, they're going to have item chips that you can flip over, but they're still deciding that. So for now, I'm just going to put the die there. I have to access that just like a door, but if I do, then I get a cool item die with a matching card I can use for bonuses. All right, now, very important, because I don't want that guy to kill me. I'm going to get 2 free movement from the physical chip, even though I don't have any dice left. And I am running away from that guy because I don't want him to get next to me, so I'll go right here for now. Otherwise, at the end of the guard round, for each guard next to you, you lose 1 power, 1 life, and you're rolling fewer dice, so I didn't want that to happen. Now, as for Bite and Transmitter down here, I guess Bite could go use the terminal. That's another action, a tech action, a green one. But, first I want him to access the network again, because I want him to get his little imperative bonus for 1 power. So because it's a tech chip, he does not have to spend 2 dice. Oh no, place an active ping on a node adjacent to one of your IP tokens. Yeah, and pings are the bad guy's little tokens, so I have to put it adjacent to one of mine. I want it behind me so it won't chase me down too much. And it's going to move 2 every turn and potentially do bad things whenever it reaches one of the red access points. And speaking of, my movement moves me to the next green space, or in this case, to the first lightning ball I come to. And normally I'd get one of 3 options that kind of give me a boost, but because of my imperative, I do nothing, but I get 1 power. That was this reset router card, so that's discarded. And he gets 1 power, although that does not change his dice pool for this turn. He doesn't get an extra yellow dice immediately. Now, I do not like that guy just chilling there, so I think I might use my next 2 actions, both moves, to go here and then all the way around to here. So the 3 actions you can take are, 1, you can decrease the threats to make things less hairy. 2, you can pick another IP token if it's on one of these little, white line spaces and skip it down to a different ring to try to attack pings in other areas. But in my case, I'm going to take the 3rd option, which is to increase my signal strength. Because if I run into that token or it runs into me, we compare our strengths, and if I have more, I kick it off the server, and I go down 1 strength level. So now I'm ready to fight that guy. But with that sort of wastefulness, we're at the end of the turn. Our hamsters just continue on their way, and this guy, he immediately flips, so you always put them in the direction they're going to head next turn. So since he reached the end of his patrol route, he's going to go up there. But I can choose what order they move in, so next turn I could have this guy go first, bump into him, and head back early, or I could have this guy get out of the way and have him go the full length. I'm not sure which one I want yet. Meanwhile, the bulldog heads towards my position, but he's not in the room yet, so he does not have awareness to where I actually am. If I can get out of there, I'll just show the hamster where I am. This is not looking like an amazing plan on second thought. And now we do have at least 1 ping on the network, so each one is going to move 2 spaces, and again, if they reach an access point, they stop. And they then roll their little negative die. In this case, we got a great result for us. This is for them to jump which ring they're on in the network, but he's not on the line, so he doesn't move at all. They could have instead increased their own signal strength or increased our threat. Neither of those would have been good. And our shiny new physical chip is out. Let's put another tech one in its place. And now at this point, I'm not much worried about the network because this guy's going to come and get killed by me before he ever reaches an access point, so we're safe until more of them spawn. So let's focus on what the heck we need to do over here. Processor could, I don't know, I guess run over to the control thing and open the door. But maybe not leave yet, because Bulldog's going to go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so if he's over here, he won't reach him yet. And then he could make a mad dash for the elevator and unlock it, because by doing that, he'll have evaded both Bulldog and potentially one of the hamsters, and I'm sure Bite might see a hamster as well. So for Byte and Transmitter to follow behind Processor, they have to probably go through the lobby and up there just through Hamster Wasteland. We're going to get so much threat. This is not great. Now, if Processor stopped on this terminal, he could do a terminal action and draw a card, but I think I've just made terrible choices and kind of forced myself to hurry. I can also try to unlock the crate and move on to it for cool items. Well, sure, I have time for that, right? So I'll use Processor's ability to treat this as a utility unlocking action. I'm just going to use 4 of his yellow dice. Okay, nice. We got 1 more than we needed. Okay, and keypad, be kind to me. Yes, we can ignore that one since we made it a utility bonus. That means we unlock this and replace it with an item, and if we just move on to that, we'll get it. So Processor will use the 2 free movement to do that, and then I'll have 1 action left. So it'll be 1, 2. What do we pick up? Oh man, this is super cool. Place this item on an adjacent space for the cost of 2 action points, or if you use a utility chip, it's free. And then the next time something else moves adjacent, roll this die. It looks like it has kind of rolls 3, 2, 4, okay? All units within X spaces, even through walls, cannot move or take actions until the next Burncycle reset. Now I might want to save this for floor 2, because really you're trying to sort of power up on floor 1. It's not supposed to be as hard unless you're like me and just messing up. So yeah, I'm going to try to survive without that. And speaking of surviving, let's find out what the keypad in front of me needs. I need to get 2 AP. Clearly that's child's play. But I assume I won't actually be able to open the door. Oof, yeah, we need to have another tech chip and add a ping. I definitely don't have that, so that'll stay closed for now. But next turn I can use his ability to treat it as a utility action and ignore 1 of those and get out. That's it for Processor, our sad little robot. Let's have Byte go next. And these are all out of order because he wants to move and then try to open the door, but we'll go ahead and try to move with that one. And he only needs 2 movement, but he wouldn't mind Transmitter coming up behind him. He's got that ability to change a die to another result, so let's just roll 3 of them. Ooh, okay, let's go ahead and change the blank to a 2. Or wait, do I need that much? Actually, no, you know what? Let's keep the blank for later, and he can change 1 die to another die's result, so we can make this a 2. That makes us 4. And that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, teamwork. Okay, now for the physical action, we'll try to unlock that door. He needs 2 APs. Let's roll both of these. With his ability, it should be basically automatic, or we just get a bunch. Oh, and in a way, this is actually good. That is a damage result, so he takes 1 power damage immediately. He loses 1 of his power, but nothing else happens. So the door is open, and he will go out, because remember, whenever he goes through a door, the first spot can't be seen. So even though this friendly little hamster certainly has him within half awareness range, 6 becomes 1, 2, 3, he's not visible yet. Then we've got a tech chip left and a couple of dice. I guess I'll use them for movement. Okay, I got 3. But for now, I'll just have Transmitter. Well, he could go to that terminal. Am I going to have the time for that? Do I just have to run to the elevator? Well, whatever. Let's have some fun and show another action type later. All right, now for guard fun. So the Bulldog comes in. He would take my token off unless he immediately sees me. And you don't get a new threat until the token has been taken off and then placed back on. But in this case, he immediately sees me within 4. So he's going to be coming after me again. And he's got 2 movement left, so, I don't know, I guess I could choose, but he'll go 1, 2. Now, do I want this hamster to head back that way, or move past? I think I want him to move past to make the elevator a little bit easier to reach. So let's have this guy go first, and that guy go second. There we go. Now, we have a tough choice here, because this is locked down, which means we might only do 2 actions next round. We could start a new Burncycle. But the negative is, with Processor's bandwidth throttling at taking away the 2 chips he would provide, we'd only get Byte's 2 chips, plus chips for rooms we occupy. So Transmitter being in the lobby, that would give us a physical and a utility, and Processor being in here would give us a tech. That's still only 5 chips. Yeah, let's try to survive this round with only 2 chips, and then do the Burncycle at the next one. We'll try to spend some power so that we can get more stuff going. Now let's not forget our ping. It's coming to around to its inevitable death, hopefully. So Processor is first, and lordy, buddy. Actually, you know what? Craziness. I don't have to go through that door and add a ping and all that terrible stuff. What if I just run back past the Bulldog? He's pretty slow, and get into this elevator instead, which doesn't even have a door I need to unlock. Yeah, man, we're doing it, because I can move safely by him. It's only if he ends his turn next to me that I get hurt. So yeah, let's treat this as a physical to get 2 extra movement. Alright, so I got so many more dice than I need if I'm just moving, so I don't know, let's use 5 of them this first time. Okay, and I could trade those in, but what the hey, we'll just get 4 movement. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, hello. And then our second action is a physical bonus as well. Might as well use all of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, plus 2, 9 movement total if we want it. So we'll go 1. I don't know, should I run onto the elevator already? Once you're on the elevator, you can't really do anything else. No, he's only going to get to there, so I can go like 2, 3, and like mess around with the network and stuff, sure. Meanwhile, Bite doesn't actually need to move this round because if he does move up, they'll see him. But then if he lets them move one more turn themselves, well, I guess he won't have an uninterrupted path to the elevator because this guy's going to flip around immediately and have 6 range. But that's okay. At least he'll be farther away. So let's have Transmitter try to access his terminal. I'll show you how that works. That is a tech action. And the first thing you do is draw the top terminal card. And normally would have a security check, which would require you to usually generate some amount of AP, but here we skip that entirely because he was using a tech chip. So now you can choose one of these 2 options. Okay, access door locks, 1, 3, or 6 AP. 1 AP for a level 1 door, 3 for a level 2, 6 for level 3. That is great. Or optional mod, draw a mod card or upgrade to a mod slot. Only thing is, Transmitter can't use mods, so I think he's going to access the door. He only needs 1 AP. But don't forget, it's Bite leading the action. Transmitter doesn't actually have any dice. So, let's use an orange just to make sure it happens. There we go, the one we needed. And I have 2 main options. Let's get rid of that. I'm never going to open that door up. I have 2 main options here. I could, open up the warehouse and run in there, but really high chance there'll be guards in there. Or I could just open the elevator and I think get both of us in there. Now, I'll be honest that I'm not 100% sure what the objective is requiring of me. It says alert 2 separate guards and evade them. So the question is, if we get into the elevators and they can't reach us anymore, then is that evading? I'm going to say yes, because I'm not sure, and it would be devastating for my strategy if it didn't work that way. So with that in mind, I'm going to try to get both of us into the elevators in the next round or so. So for Bite's second action, we've got a physical left. That'll give it +2 bonus to his movement. Okay, nice, and he can change 1 die to the result he wants. So that'll be 6, 8 movement total. Oh, crud, the problem is Transmitter's going to be blocked off if the hamster chases after him. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So as much as I think it is a bummer, I'm going to have to go here, I think, let the hamster come over and hit me. Because clearly he sees me and I gain a threat. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By the way, whenever you do a terminal action, the terminal chip is gone. You can't use it again. Yeah, so I'll take a hit, and then I should be able to get both of us onto the elevator in 1 action pretty easily. So that's the end of the round. The bulldog goes 1, 2, 3, and sees me again, just about to enter the elevator. This hamster comes over and hits me, and only the one that's closest cares about you, so this guy's just going to keep on doing his routine path. I lose 1 power for each robot I'm next to, so I'm down to 2. Our friend over here moves up, and we're down to 1 chip. And I'm actually not going to reset the Burncycle because you do that for free when you go to the elevator. Now, again, I might be cheating massively by just completing my objective by running into the elevator. I don't know, but for now, we're going to roll with it. So Processor will move into the elevator. There's no real way he can fail. But Bite needs to actually hope he rolls somewhat well. Okay, cool. He can change 1 of these into a 2. So that will give me 6 total. I think it's just enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yay! And again, might be cheating, but whenever you complete an objective, you gain this much power for every robot. So Processor's up to 8, Bite's up to 4, and even Transmitter gains 2. That's only for life for him because he doesn't use power for anything else. So kind of a meh first floor overall. I did not do that well with all those tough guards and my poor choices, but let's see what level 2 looks like for the first time on camera. So here we go. Floor 2 is set up. And we started basically the same spots we did before, although we can freely adjust where we are in the elevator. And just the 1 door we had opened, of course, switching sides. Or should I switch sides? The spaces switch, but maybe not. I'm not entirely sure how that would work. There we go. Yeah, so a ton of terminals in this room. Look, we've got 2 in the R&D lab here. We've got 2 in the server room. We've also got a few unlocked crates, 1 in storage over here and 1 in equipment over here. And equipment doesn't even have a regular die we have to roll, so it's totally safe to go in there. Well, safe if not for all of these jerks hanging around. And speaking of the jerks, everything gets tougher on floor 2. You have a new set of guards, and in addition to generally stronger stats, they also have special abilities now. So this guy is cautious and has this special patrol route. So first of all, he won't move unless an unlocked door is within his awareness range. And then if it is, this is really nasty. He'll walk up behind you, go in the room, see if anybody's there. If they're not, he'll move out of the room and lock it behind him. So yes, now they actually use common sense on this floor. Meanwhile, the hamster moves faster, and now he has the reach ability. At the end of his movement, if there's a robot within his awareness range, he pulls them right next to himself and gets to damage them. And by the way, on the second floor, when you get damaged, you take 2 power loss instead of 1. See, I'm feeling like I rushed the first floor and will be totally unprepared for this. Now, the one kind of bright spot is the bulldog has steady, which means he literally does not move unless he can actually reach you to hurt you. But he has a crazy 10 awareness, so he'll spot you and have other closer robots move to you and attack you, so it's not that great. And don't forget, all the keypads for doors will be harder to open now. And yeah, I expect this to kind of crash and burn pretty quickly, but we don't have a third floor, so that's kind of a good thing, right? That way we can say we saw a full game. Now here's the absolutely horrible thing though. We're about to set up our burn cycle. Remember, processor's got bandwidth throttling, and I guess this counts as a burn cycle reset, even though, yeah, I think it's like a free burn cycle reset, but I think it's still a reset. So he'll get 2 power, but he's not contributing either of his chips, which means all we're getting is Byte's 2 chips for this entire burn cycle. So we're going to have to reset pretty quickly, which will be costly, as you'll see. Because when you reset the burn cycle at the end of the round, you get a whole new set of chips, and that's great, but your threat goes up by 3. And since it's at 2 from us being spotted, when it gets to 3, we're going to resolve a brownout. We're all going to get an imperative card, which again can get us power, but usually has negative effects. And the CEO is going to add 2 more pings to the network, and then we're going to go straight to 5, where, look, doors auto-lock after we go into them. So we'll have that radio head locking doors, and they'll also lock when we move in, and the keypads are harder to do now. Now, the only bright spot is that guards do not pursue into or out of rooms, but that's because they know that we can't do much. Looks like this is like a pharmaceuticals or like chemical company. They got contaminants and corrosive stuff, so yeah. So here's our amazing burn cycle. Wow. A utility and a physical. Lord help us. And whenever you reset the burn cycle, even when you go to a new floor, you switch who the first player is. So Byte's going to be first now. And one silver lining here is nobody's going to be able to see him because remember, he's invisible on the first space he enters once he goes through a door. Or he's not. I cheated on the first floor again. Silent entry says when you enter a room, not when you go into a hallway. So he cannot be hidden when he leaves the elevator. Bulldog is going to see him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half of his range of 10. And he'll let some other people come towards him. Although I guess Bulldog will be the closest. So maybe he won't get pursued this turn, although the hamster will go towards him soon. But let's not forget, we need to draw an objective and see what we need to do. All right, let's see. Rendezvous at Checkpoint Echo. Get all bots into the same non-elevator room without using surveillance in that room. Surveillance is an ability you get from terminals and stuff where you get to see what's in there first. Or increase the strength of an IP to the current floor level plus 2. So if Purple gets this up to 4, then he'd be good to go. But don't forget, he's about to go back down to 1. So I think I'm going to go for Rendezvous at Checkpoint Echo. I could technically choose both, and heck, you can even have like 3 or 4 if you want to keep on drawing pairs, but that seems like enough, and it'll get us 3 power each. And just strategizing a bit, once we reset the burn cycle, they're not going to follow us into rooms. So I'm thinking if we go into the storage room, then Processor can get there pretty quickly. It's kind of the most equidistant, and then we can just head right back out to the elevators again. So Byte really wishes these were reversed, but so it goes. We'll go ahead and use that as a physical movement. And he wants to go, I guess, 3 at least, and maybe bring Transmitter along too. And I just want to save 2 to be able to see what the door requires. So let's see. I guess we'll go like that. We should be pretty safe. Oh my gosh. It's with his ability. Oh, I can't copy that because it's a 3, and the yellows don't have a 3 face. So I can use 2 of those to count as 1, so that'll be 4, and I'll save the other one. So he'll go 1, and the Bulldog will see him. 2, 3, and sure, we'll move Transmitter down a single space. Oh, and whoops, when the Bulldog sees him, we go up to 3, so the brownout activates. We all draw 1 imperative card, and the CEO pings the network 2 times. Which means one's going to go right here, the core, and the other one's going to hang out there until this one kind of gets out of its way. And let's see, Processor's new imperative. Memory systems update. The next time you enter a room, you cannot leave it until the burn cycle is reset. Oh, man. If we can get into the room, like, immediately, that's not even a problem at all. But if not, that's going to be the worst. Okay, and for Bytes, 2-factor authentication. The next 2 you roll with an action die must be ignored. That's not too bad, I guess. Dice have not been my problem mostly this game. And now let's see if he can gain access to this keypad. He just needs 2. Oh, no! The next 2 I roll with an action die must be ignored. It's ignored, but can I still use my ability to change a die? Maybe? I don't know, but I guess I'm gaining a power from the imperative. Let's say yes, I guess. And what's the keypad want? What? Really? I didn't know there were cards like that. That's amazing. That's sort of making up for that terrible one Processor drew the first round. So I will move in. I have to roll the room die. Don't be a guard. Oh, I guess there is no guard spot. This one means the terminal is gone, but we have another crate, which is automatically open. So both of these are open crates. The other one, because it was a red icon on the room. So we can move on to those and find out what cool items we're going to get. But that's Bite's entire turn. Let's see if Processor can catch up to him. Let's see. He's got 10 power. Let's get a red die. So 2 will get me another orange die, and then another 2 plus minus that orange die will get me 1 red die. And actually, you know what? For 2 more, I do want to get another chip for him so that when the Burncycle resets, it's not as terrible. Okay, and for his first action, he's going to do a physical run action and not use the bonus, but then he'll use his ability to change this into a utility action and maybe get into the door. We'll see. And I got some swanky new dice here. The red one even has a symbol that lets you re-roll as many of your other dice as you want, which is pretty cool. I need to move 4. So sure, let's do the red and I don't know, 3 yellows maybe. And I didn't get the reroll, but I can use both of these as a 1, so that'd be 1, 2, 4. There we go. So 1, clearly he's immediately spotted. That brings our threat to 4, almost to that room locking 1. Okay, 2, 3, 4, I think. Yeah, this guy can only see up to 4 away, wrapping around corners and stuff, so that's where he stops seeing me. And like I said, we'll use his ability to treat that as a utility. We just need 2 AP, shouldn't be able to fail. There we go. And I'd love another lucky keypad like the last one. Oh, yeah. I think I was wrong last time. I think that's the ping symbol. So I think I have to add a CEO ping. This is going to get painful pretty quickly. But it does mean that I unlock the door and get inside. Whew. And the interesting part is that none of the enemies saw us go in there. So even without the CEO effect that would stop them from following us, they won't. Except actually, I guess the Radiohead guy will use his cautious ability. But you know what? He's not the closest, or he's tied with Hamster, so I think you can say Hamster pursues instead of him, so that's good. Oh, and by the way, we've got a mandatory system update. I think Processor gets the 2 power right away, but he can't leave until we reset the Burncycle, which will be in a second, probably. He is leveling up nicely. Oh, crud, I just realized I still have to get Transmitter in there as well. Whoops. But for now, it's the end of the round. That guy's not doing anything because he's in a room. We'll say that Hamster is the closest, and he'll move up here to investigate that. And then he's also the closest to the other one, but that one's closer, so he's not going to do anything else. Bulldog shouldn't move. Nobody else should move, I think. Now, it's fun with CEO pings. We do the inner ring first, and they'll just kind of queue up behind the other ones as they come out. But don't forget, one of the die results could spread them all out on the little lines. And this one runs into me. I defeat it, lose 1 strength. But Bite gains 1 power, and he needs it, so that's nice. And we're down to a single chip, but let's not reset the Burncycle yet, because we can get a Transmitter into the room with this, and then suffer. So Bite is first, but I think I'll have Processor use his movement to get Transmitter in. Let's have Bite pick up some equipment, since Processor already has one. But before that, let's get ourselves a 6 chips minimum, though I guess the room's going to give us more, and go ahead and boost up Bite to have another utility action. And he's just going to use all of his dice to move. Okay, we can change one of these to a 2. So that should be more than enough. 2, 4, 5, 7, 10. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I guess we might as well do this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get him out of the way. And he was also seen right there. Nice. Oh, which does raise our threat to 5. So now all the doors are auto-locking after we enter them. So I guess that would apply to the storage room? Yeah, because he would have been seen before he went in there. So that one's locked again, but I don't think this one is. Except now if we leave the room, is it locked? I'm not sure. And is the elevator going to lock? Well, let's see. I think entry is different than exit. So if we leave this room, we should be okay. But yeah, I guess we'll have to unlock the elevator again as we each head in. Although one of us can get to that one. But hey, forget that for a second. Let's see what equipment we got. Movement spike, once per move. Move X spaces before, after, in between taking Burncycle actions. And to show you, the X comes from the numbers on the die when you roll it. Some will also have a lightning bolt symbol and deal 1 damage to you. The other one, terminal bypass. When selecting a terminal option, roll this die to ignore the AP requirement. Well, that's pretty nice. Although, again, it has a decent chance of hurting me. And by the way, we have done our rendezvous. Let's gain 3 power for each of us. So Bite will have to spend some more in a moment. Processor definitely can spend some. And shoot, I should have Transmitter fighting all those guards because he's very healthy right now. Now, speaking of Processor, he's got a ton of power. I'm going to spend 2 of it And that's how you level up Transmitter with your other robot spending power. So now we're going to get 4 Burncycle chips on our next turn instead of 3. Besides that, he's just got 1 action. I guess he'll try to access the network. And he can, of course, count as a tech chip with a special ability. So he does not have to discard 2 dice, although he could clearly afford to. Virtual Terminal. Draw a terminal access card instead of accessing the network this turn. Well, okay, so he does have to spend 2 AP first for the security check. That should be easy enough. Let's be safe and roll 4. Wow, okay, that is still 2 with all the slashes. Then I can either admin access, increase all active bot IP security levels by 1 or single IP level by 2. The only one active is purple, but that would get him to 3. That's nice. Or I can do comms. False alarm report. Reduce threat meter by half of chosen AP. Oh my gosh. So if I can get 8 AP, I can reduce the threat by 4? Can I get 8? Maybe I'll go for 6 and 3 threat reduction. Let's try for that. Oh my gosh. Oh, actually, never mind. I got a reroll for the yellows from the red die. So either way, it's 7. So I would not have made 8. Good thing I didn't go for that. So threat goes down by 3, but that does not reverse things like the contaminant effect, making the doors not as good. It just keeps me taking longer to get to the other ones. All right, back to our friends. This guy's the only one moving. He's going to find that, which means it goes off the board, and I would gain threat again if he got it again. And then he's going towards the other 2. And the one action I haven't shown you is the engage action. It's also a physical one. If you're next to a robot and you get 10 points on the first floor, 15 on the second, 20 on the third floor, you can just blow them up entirely. You can do the same thing to make a hole in a wall and just kind of gain entrance however you want. All right, now the pings move. The first one goes here and rolls the die. And he does get for them to advance, so anyone with a line goes to the next level. Okay, and then innermost goes, so that guy goes, and then this guy goes. And you'll see they'll keep on getting more and more access points if I don't deal with them in some fashion. And now maybe the most important thing, I have to reset the Burncycle because we're out of actions. Which does bring threat up 3, but we've already dealt with those effects. And now things are looking much better. We're getting a 3 utility, 2 tech, 1 physical, and 1 more utility from our room. And since we upgraded Transmit, we're going to get 4 chips this time. Okay, they're not all utility, although they're mostly utility. And we had exactly 7, so we will have a full set of 3 in our reserve, the most we could have to sub-ins. We've got a ton of time now, although I don't know if we want to stay on this floor for too long. We could at least go do some more terminal stuff. We're back to Processor going first, and he actually doesn't need to spend anything yet. I do like his support skill. That would let me mess with the chips in the entire Burncycle every time we switch in a chip after it gets locked. That would cost me 4. He'd be down to fewer dice than I would like. So we'll let him stick for now. And actually, now that I mentioned it, I like the idea of smashing some walls, because that'll avoid the contaminant auto-lock thing and also kind of help us avoid guards. So for his first action, let's make it physical and get a 2 free movement with a special ability. So we can go right there. And for a second, you can skip chips, so I'll go right here to get the +2 bonus. So remember, it's 15 on floor 2 to smash something, so now I need 13. Is that possible with these dice? I'm honestly not entirely sure, but can't hurt to try, right? Okay, it doesn't seem good enough. I don't have any rerolls. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, really? Alright, so he did not succeed. I probably shouldn't have gone all in on that, but we can always try again. I mean, in fact, what the hey, let's have Bite go ahead and get a 3rd orange die. And we're doing it, skipping straight down here. He needs a 13. Hopefully with his ability to make a die match another one. Come on. That looks pretty good, maybe. We'll make that a 2, 4, 8, 10, 12. Okay, maybe these dice are not the right dice to break down the wall. I mean, it doesn't hurt us too much to spend a little time doing this. This guy will go 1, 2, both of those come off. And then he's facing this direction, so he'll just start doing a back and forth like that, which is not ideal for us. The real problem with us slow playing is the ping. We've got 1 die from that. Okay, and they jump, so that means this one goes up and that one goes up, but that one stays where it is, I think. Okay, and then this one bumps into him. That wasn't too bad, but this guy makes the die get rolled again. And it's their signal strength increasing. Wonderful, which means they could boot us off the server. And we lock a die. Let's go ahead and switch it with a tech. And our next turn, I know it's silly, but we're doing it. Processor, break that door down. Okay, here we go, here we go. We're using his ability. Only need 13. That does not seem like it. Ooh, wait, I got re-roll. So let me re-roll all of these misses, and that one, actually, because one's the least I can roll. That looks better. That looks way better. 3, 6, 8, 10, 13, 14, 16. Even without the bonus, we would have done it. Boom! Now, we don't have the token to mark walls destroyed yet. Actually, it's right here by processor. Now, can I move in for free? Well, let's say we can, and see what's in the room. Oh my gosh, of course it's the guard. So, of course, he sees me, and that's the guy who can, pull me next to him and hurt me. I could try to smash him. Oh, I used all of my dice. I literally used all of my dice. Here, I will run away from him. Yeah, I'll go 1, 2, so he'll have last seen me there. And I don't know if that counts as pursuing me into a room, because there's a gaping hole in the wall, so we'll say it doesn't. And since it's free to draw a wireless card by using a tech action, we'll at least try to get green on the network. Okay, we get to lockdown in action in our burn cycle. That's bad, but I do get to move on to the first tech space from that. Lockdown in action. We have so many utility actions. Let's lock that one down. Wait, what am I doing? This guy's literally going to move in there and hit both of us for 2. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. Maybe Bike can go and do that terminal thing with his terminal access die and take the damage for the team. So let's have him move with that one. Or, I guess actually you could just skip down to there. No, it should be okay. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. So I think with his ability, 3 dice is probably all right. Yep. We've got 5. So we can go 1, 2, 3. That'll increase our threat to 7. 2 before the next one. And he clearly sees me right now. But then I guess I should just use the movement there and save myself 2 AP, but whatever. I'll go ahead and use the tech one. Or no, I think I have enough dice left. So let's use this to access the computer. Okay, fingerprint scanner. Rolling a number of AP dice. A passing result requires 2 dice showing a 1. If I do this, gain 2 power and select another option. Okay, so I need 2 1s. But the thing is, I've got that terminal die that'll let me access automatically. But let's see if we can make it work with this. Yes! Okay, so I guess those are all gone. But I gain 2 power, the same 2 power he's about to hurt me with. Let's see, I can either file download, gain 2 power, or access the room cameras and surveil someone. I think I'm going to run away soon, so I'm just going to do the file download. Instead of using 2 AP, I can just roll this, and I just have to worry about rolling that lightning bolt and taking 1 damage. And I don't, so I just get to access it and get 2 more power for free. Boom, looking good, Bite. Oh, and actually, I guess I can get out of here. I can use that as a physical action. Use my last 2 dice. Oh, 2. Well, okay, that's fine. He'll just move back over here, which means the guy sees him right there. But then he'll tank the damage, and processor and transmitter can try to get away. Speaking of, this guy comes over here. He would pull him, but he's already next to him, so he does 2 damage. Those guys are all hanging out, but he goes 1, 2, 3. Great, he's right in front of the elevator. And we'll lock down a chip, but let's go ahead and replace both of these. I guess I'll put the utility one at the end. That clears out a reserve, though. All right, so we need to get, I guess, one of them to that elevator. That shouldn't be too hard, and then maybe the other one's over there. Oh, but if we wait for the hamster to move, he's going to be blocking that door. Oh, what a terrible path he's taking. And our pings do their thing, so innermost first. Neither of them hit anything, that's good, and actually he doesn't either, so that was a uneventful ping turn. Yeah, so what can processor do? I guess he could, run like the wind all the way to the other side of the elevator, get in there. Bike could go to the safe zone, we wait for the hamster to move out of the way, and then transmitter gets into the other safe zone? Sure, let's do it. So while transmitter uses power, treat that as a physical for +2. You know what, honestly, let's cycle some of this down. So let's do 3, let's be crazy. So we'll get an extra orange and then trade it in for red. 2 red, 2 orange, 3 yellow. So I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know if trading in my dice actually was what I wanted to do. But hey, I've got a 2 bonus, so let's see if, I don't know, all 3 of my yellows and a red. Let's see how that does for us. Okay, so that's no reroll. That's 4, 5 with a bonus 7. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And clearly him being actually seen by people takes precedence, but he doesn't get another threat because his token was already on the board somewhere. They already knew he was there. This actually works out pretty well. He'll go ahead and do a run to get 2 more movement. There we go, leaving the elevator on the other side open for transmitter, even with the contaminant shutting it down after I open it. Then I'll use the utility action, and I guess all my dice to get 2. Okay, so we definitely got in. Or sorry, not got in, we get to see the keypad. Oof! 3 run icons? That's not happening. Oh, crud. But it's okay, it's okay. Bite, you're gonna run into the safe zone and then use the rest of your actions to have Transmitter do cool stuff, I guess? Ooh, here we go. I forgot that he had abilities too. Part of the scenery. Cannot perform keypad actions. That's not great. But guards are not alerted by this bot being within awareness range. If blocking guard movement, units will swap places. He can just stand in plain sight. Awesome. So let's have more fun killing myself and go down to 2. Give Bite his part of the scenery ability. I need to get into the elevator, but I don't have much movement going on. So let's jump all the way down to that one. I'm going to use my movement spike, which could hurt me, but will give me extra movement. And I already have +2. Let's save a couple. Well, I don't know actually if I need to, so maybe I don't need the movement spike. I don't want to be safe. Let's do it. Okay, 2. I forgot I could use his ability. 6, 8, 10. No damage. Nice. Yeah, that's way too much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess his awareness token stays there. And Transmitter's got 4 left if he wants it. Sure, let's get him by the door so that guy can't block him up before he gets attacked. All right, some goofiness going on. This guy comes over here. Can I get hurt in the elevator? Maybe. I mean, that would kill me. But we're about to finish up the floor, and I would just take over Transmitter, so maybe that's okay. The Bulldog can reach me, so he'll move over and do 2 damage to Processors, down to 1. And this hamster will reach Transmitter, get him down to 8. Oh, no! I forgot this guy was doing that. Oh, no. Well, actually, I guess this guy doesn't move in because he doesn't see Transmitter with Transmitter's new ability, but this guy still blocks him and I think still hurts him. But it does mean if Transmitter waits, he'll get out of the way and he can potentially get into the elevator. Okay, and our pings. So that one rolls a die, which increases their threat level again. This guy just moves there, and that guy just moves there. So, I don't know, is Bite dead? Sure, we'll say Bite's dead, and now I'm controlling Transmitter. But Processor is still first. I want him to get in here and then reopen the door for Transmitter. And so I need to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movement. Down to a single yellow for my power plus these ones. So let's treat this as +2 movement and I don't know, just roll these. I'm going to move some more in a second. So that'll get me 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, I'm still here. And then I need 5 more, and I want to try to open the door. Though I guess I don't have to do that immediately, so we can just jump down to that. And I'll certainly get the movement I need. Yep. So I get to go in here. I think the door closes behind me. So I can try to open it again for Transmitter, since he can't open it himself. And I'm honestly not clear on the rules yet, so let's just call it there, because I'm not sure how to use Transmitter ability. If the guard still can't see him, clearly you should be able to get in there without too much trouble. But yeah, that would be a rough go of it going into floor 3 once they have the rules for that. I'm pretty sure I'd be dead. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed that deeper look into Burncycle with a physical prototype. Although, again, everything in here I'm sure will change its look and atmosphere in some way or another. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Kickstarter so far after playing a bunch of what's available, click the video that just popped up. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.